Hey there, Tamir from Fibonacci-Traders.com, your daily market recap, November 6, 2023. Like, subscribe, and let's see what SPY and Friends brought us in the past day. Nothing much. Inside candle, doji, and as we know, doji, inside candle, represents indecision in the market. If we go to the 15 minutes time frame, we can clearly see not much of a price action, just moving sideways and still below a very tough resistance. This trend line represents lower highs since July of 2023, and we have the 437 area, which is the 618 Fibonacci retracement, downtrend, bounce. 618, 437 look left was a very important area of support. Broke to the downside with a gap over here. September 20, gap, and since then resistance, and Friday and today also resistance. Let's see who will win eventually. Bulls? Can bulls take price above this area, closing this gap and continuation towards the 444, or bears will come back again, closing the gap at the 431, breaking below the 431, and we will see the 423 gap will get filled. Remember, more than 85-90% of all gaps will get filled throughout time. So if you see a gap, embrace that it will get filled sometime in the future with more than 85% chance. QQQ, downtrend line, doji, closing above it, but it's a doji. If you go to the line chart, we can see price closed above the trend line, but with a doji, which means we are in a very difficult battle between bears and bulls. Bulls are trying to make it above this downtrend channel that started July 19th, the peak of July, and since then bulls are having a very difficult time to break up and close above this trend line. Now let's see where price will take us. We can take Fibonacci, swing low, swing high, downtrend, bounce, 618. Once again, here we are. Fibonacci 618 retracement, very difficult area of resistance. Here, tried, got rejected by the trend line, went down. Here was a very interesting area of support until it broke to the downside. Here, resistance. So let's see if bulls of Qs can take the lead and break up above and take us towards the 377. Dow Jones, 2 consecutive dojis above the 340. The 340 was a very important area of support, then became resistance since September 22nd. Resistance. Friday broke up above with a doji. Today, doji below a major downtrend line. This downtrend line started over August, the peak of August, and since then, each and every time, bulls failed to break up and above it, and once again, 2 consecutive dojis below a trend line. Bulls are having a tough time. Some kind of retracement, closing this gap at the 338, and then 336 needs to hold. Otherwise, 333 gap will get filled. Very interesting November we're going to have. IWM broke above the trend line Friday. Today, low of the day, this trend line held as support. We have 2 gaps to the downside, 2 small gaps at the 170 and the 165, and we have another major gap at the 156 and another gap at the 180. In my opinion, long on IWM, only above the 180. We need to wait until this gap will get filled, because this gap is at the 50% retracement of this downtrend, 50% retracement. And we have 3 gaps to the downside and only 1 gap to the upside. More than 85% gaps will get filled. So, stay tuned. Bitcoin still moving sideways. 34 to the downside is the support. 35,200 is a very difficult resistance, as you can see, since October 24th. 2 weeks of very difficult resistance. We have a trend line like this. Some will call it rising wedge. If this trend line will get broken, we are heading towards the 34 once again, and then 29,800 to the downside. Ethereum, let's clean the chart a little bit so we can see price action more clearly. Broke above a very tough trend line as resistance. Now this trend line needs to hold the support. We can take Fibonacci, swing low, swing high, and there you have it. All the levels to the upside, all the levels to the downside for future price action for Ethereum. Above 1920, we are heading towards the 2034 and then 2200s. Crude oil continues sliding down on this trend line. We have good support and bad support. This trend line is a bad support. Why? Because it supports the lower lows, which means downtrend on crude oil until proven otherwise. We had a very bullish run since June until September. 3 months of a bullish run from 67 towards the 95. Now we are having a retracement. We can take Fibonacci, swing low, swing high, and there you have it. 50% retracement is holding together with this trend line. Breaking below this area, we are heading towards the 77 area. NG1, natural gas futures, inside long-term uptrend channel. We have a gap to the upside, a gap to the downside, and we know that no gaps. There are no gaps in futures, and it doesn't matter if it's the NG1, CL1, ES1, NQ1, all futures, all gaps on all futures will get filled. We can take Fibonacci. Swing low, swing high. 321 needs to hold. Otherwise, we are heading towards this trend line to the downside. If you are long on NG1, it's time for you to manage your risk more carefully. You can use ATR, Fibonacci levels to the downside. And if you don't know how to use ATR or Fibonacci as risk management, check the links in the description below. First, start with the Fibonacci Academy playlist. 26 videos, free playlist on my YouTube channel, Fibonacci-Traders YouTube channel. Check all those videos. Each video no more than 15 minutes on how to become a better trader, technical side, and, in my opinion, more important, and the psychology behind trading. Gold struggling to hold, breaking below this 1970, and we will see to the downside 1900, sorry, below it, back to 1845. SOXX inside candle, still inside a steep downtrend channel since the peak of July. We need to wait for at least 2-3 days above this trend line, above the 481, and then we can start taking our long on SOXX. SOXX, we have a gap to the downside. Be careful when you see gaps. Look at the KRE, broke with very strong bullish sentiment, broke above this downtrend. Now where price is now. 618 Fibonacci retracement, downtrend, bounce, 618, resistance, 50% support. Below the 50%, this gap will get filled. 4160 is the next support. Below it, we will close the 40 gap. Long continuation on KRE, only above 44.30 towards the 46 and then 49. XLE, downtrend until proven otherwise. We said we have bad supports and here we are. This is a bad support. Lower lows until proven otherwise. And we also have lower highs. So, on a shorter term, XLE, since peak of September, almost 2 months ago, lower highs, lower lows, where price might be heading next. No need to guess. Below 85.70, we're heading back to the 84 together with this red trend line. If you want to go long, in my opinion, you need to wait above the 89. And of course, everything you see and hear on my channel is for educational purposes only. Always do your own due diligence. Never follow blindly anyone on social media, and it doesn't matter how many subscribers, followers they have on YouTube, Twitter, how many members they have on Discord or any other group. It's your money. Take care of your money. No one else will do it for you. Get education. Invest in yourself. It will be the best investment that you will do in your lifetime. Trust me. This one I can tell you with 100%. Invest in your own education. Apple, we have a double bottom scenario getting validated. Now broke above a major downtrend resistance since the peak of August. Each and every time, as you can see, price of Apple tried and failed. Today, Apple 1.5% to the upside, broke above, and we are heading towards the 50% area. Above the 180, we will see 184. No open gaps on Apple to the downside. We only have this one, the 146, but for now, looks like Apple is heading up. Above the 180, 180 look left. Very important area of support and resistance. Breaking up and above. Bulls of Apple will gain the respect back, and they will gain all the power back. And as we know, where Apple goes, the rest of the market follows. Amazon, 3 consecutive dojis, but holding nicely above this broadening formation. 137 needs to hold. Next resistance, 143. Meta, struggling with the 318 area. 310 needs to hold the support. Below it, 303. And back to the 297. Long continuation on Meta. A daily close above 319. And then we will see 331 to the upside. AMD, inside candle. Not surprising after a bullish run from October 31st. Now, 113, 2 consecutive days. Resistance, 108 is the support. Long continuation above 114 towards the upper border of this broadening formation. Tesla trying with all the power to hold above the 220, 219 area, as you can see. During hours, broke below, and bulls gave everything they have to close at this area. Because bulls of Tesla knows breaking below, closing below the 219, and this gap will get filled, and we will see 194 together with this red trend line to the downside getting once again retested. Long continuation on Tesla, only in my opinion, a daily close above 228, and then we will see 242 getting filled. Microsoft, continuation to the upside, very strong Microsoft, 357 now. As you can see, was a very difficult resistance over here, breaking up and above, and we will see new all-time highs on Microsoft. 350 needs to hold. Resistance, resistance. Now, 350, by natural things of price action, 350 will be as support. And we have trend lines that shows us we can take like this. As you can see, above 357, we will hit the 370 area somewhere over here. New all-time highs on Microsoft. Google bouncing nicely off this lower border of this broadening formation. Long continuation on Google above 131, and then 137 gap will get filled. Netflix continuing its way to the upside inside this uptrend red channel. Broke above a yellow trend line. This yellow trend line needs to get retested as support. Together with this area, the 116, maybe closing the gap at the 111, and then next leg up to the 468. Nvidia inside the downtrend line, sorry. This line, lower highs since peak of September. Now let's see continuation above it, and then where price might be heading next. No need to guess. Look at this. 618 retracement. Once again, downtrend, bounce, 618 together with the trend line. Very difficult area of resistance. Bulls of Nvidia, continuation, its bullish bounce, and then 474 to the upside. Shopify, once again. I know I sound like a broken record, but it is what it is. Trend lines are the true support resistance for price action, and they are also our roadmap for future price action. Follow price, use trend lines to show you the way, and the way now is still downtrend channel since the peak of July. Each and every time Shopify tried, got rejected. Now let's see, this red zone was a very important area of support. Support, broke above it, now needs to hold as support once again. Breaking above this trend line, and we will see 66, 65 to the upside, and then 71. If you're not long yet on Shopify, you need to wait for at least another day or two, closing above this white trend line, above the 60, which is also the 618 Fibonacci retracement. Broke above the 618 into this trend line. And this is why I always say, follow price, use Fibonacci and trend lines as your risk management and your future roadmap for price action. So I want to thank you all for watching this video. I hope you found it educational and helpful. If you did, like, subscribe will be much appreciated. Help me grow the channel. Until the next video, until the next live 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, stay safe.